Good morning, Nelta and Kayla, and back here in Lagos. Welcome to Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. I'm in John McQuarrie. We do business for just about 30 minutes. We promise not to exceed that today, unlike yesterday. But we start from the global space. So we tell you about oil prices in the global space. It edged lower on Tuesday as Israel accepted a proposal to tackle disagreement, blocking a ceasefire deal in Gaza, helping ease worries about a supply disruption in the Middle East. So let's see what this has done to the price this morning. Well, we see a big drop in the price, yes, because when there is supply, ease of supply, and no disruption to supply, then you can know that the price will drop. So it went down, all the way down, 0.15%. Brent is at $77.54. Not very good for Nigeria, even though we don't know what's happening, with our oil at this time, But WTI of the United States dropped a little bit more than that, 0.2% is what we see, $74.23 a barrel. And as you can expect, that decision by Israel is a major driver to the numbers that we see there. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken had said that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu had accepted a bridging proposal presented by Washington to tackle disagreements, blocking a ceasefire deal in Gaza, and urged Hamas to do the same. Also easing supply concerns is production at Libya's Sarara oil field. That has risen to 85,000 barrels a day in a move aimed at supplying the Zawiya oil refinery to engineers working at the field. Libya's National Oil Corporation had declared force majeure on oil exports from the field on August 7 after a blockade by protesters hit production at the 300,000 barrels per day field. We come home to Nigeria. Take a look at what happened to the Naira yesterday. We saw a little bit of gain here for NAF from 0.04, and then for NAFEX, it was a drop. It's odd, when you see inverse relationship right there, but this is what happened. So the Naira opened at 1,579 Naira 89 kobo, and then closed at 1,579 Naira 22 kobo. So you can see the change there is really marginal, just around the kobo, but a little bit of gain right there while we have a flip of that on NAFEX. We saw 0.05% drop for that. So some kind of stable number we've been seeing around the Naira since last week. And of course, we do hope it stays that way or even drops to a better value. Now, another urgent issue is the petrol queues you've seen. I'm sure you've seen it on your way to work, on your way home. It has been disruption to traffic. It's been disruption to how many hours did you spend in the filling station, or how much did you have to cough out to buy a liter of petrol? A problem which unfortunately is spreading, in the country. It was just Lagos and Abuja, but now we hear it's also appearing in other parts of the country. Some of the depot attendants that I spoke to personally off camera did say that when they go to get petrol, there are no products there, meaning there was no imports. And of course, this begs a lot of answers. So now on the other side, the modular refineries are saying there's a need to restructure Nigeria's oil and gas sector to include backward integration, and also to look the way of the modular refineries. Perhaps investments in that area could help. And in the midst of this, there's also the fear of substandard petroleum products. Apart from the insufficient. Well, yesterday we had the chairman, Board of Trustees, Crude Oil Refiners Association of Nigeria, that's Koran, Captain Emmanuel Ihanacho. He's the one who proposed this.
We have been producing crude oil for a very long time, but we are stuck in a situation where most of the production that we have is actually shipped abroad. We sell it. And if we sell it, then whoever buys it takes it to a refinery and refines it and brings it back to us and sells it to us for about approximately twice the amount that they paid for the crude. So to start with, we really need to be able to restructure our oil industry and how we manage the sale of crude. So do we really want to be selling the crude if we can actually produce the refined products locally? Producing the refined products locally would ensure that we have adequate supply, and the problems that we are witnessing today we don't see. There are other multiplier benefits that we will gain from investing in modular refineries. Jobs, engineering jobs, processor jobs, all kinds of multiplier benefits are there to be realized through investment in modular refineries.
Well, that's a signal that we are discussing commodities at this time. But, I mean, what is commodity without transportation, without energy security? We're discussing with the Chief Executive Officer of Financial Derivatives Company, Mr. Bismarck Rwani. Mr. Rwani obviously is an economist, but maybe he has one or two solutions he can suggest. Mr. Rwani, good morning. The queues are back. Not that they really totally disappeared, but, I mean, it's not looking so good at all.
It's not looking good at all. To be honest with you, it's an embarrassment to an oil-producing country with the refining capacity we have. This shouldn't be happening to us. So the scarcity is there. The effective price of petrol today in Lagos, Metropolis, and Abuja, in certain areas, is about 1,100, which is exactly the price across in Cameroon and the price in Benin Republic. So basically, the price is in equilibrium, and that's what the effective price is. Now, the subsidized price is 610, 620. So who is paying the subsidy and who is bearing it? But meanwhile, there's disruption. There's a lot of downtime, and it's not good for the economy, and it's actually affecting output. So there's a problem. But the big problem here is that because of this, prices that were actually beginning to subside are now beginning to increase. We've seen the price of rice back up. We've seen the price of wheat back up. We have seen a couple of other commodities, palm oil, up by about 33%. All of this has happened in a matter of 3-4 days of fuel shortage. So one, it is disruptive to downtime and labor. Two, it's affecting output. And three, it's actually setting the clock back in terms of prices. So it's actually making the work of the central bank and the Ministry of Finance and Coordinating Ministry of the Economy much more difficult. While efforts are being made on one hand, some of these things are happening. How do we solve it? We have to solve it. NNPC has to complain as to what exactly is the problem. Is it a logistics problem? Is it a pricing problem? Is it a vested interest problem? We got to figure that out, because it is a threat to political stability in this country.
Yeah, I know, Mr. Rwani, you've said this a couple of times, how there's deficits of trust. And this is, part of what feeds into that. Because, I mean, Nigerians just wake up and find it difficult to buy a commodity that is supposed to be available, and there's no communication, and then we start hearing NNPC is paying subsidy with their profits and revenue, and, and nothing is really confirmed, and people don't know why they're going through what they're going through. I wonder how, you will win the people's trust if you cannot communicate with them about what they are going through.
No, the problem is, and I've said it consistently on your programs and other platforms, that there's a shortage of truth in this country. People have to be honest and come clean. Because once the country gets to the point where nobody believes what you're saying except yourself, then there's a problem. NNPC has reported a profit of X trillion Naira. NNPC said there's under recovery, said the refineries will start working in August. The Port Harcourt refinery will start working in August. We need to know what is the truth. The truth cannot be in such short supply that the price of truth becomes so high. So because once the supply shortage, prices increase. The price of truth and those who depend on it to make decisions become so expensive, and it passes on to people. So I think that's the problem. So let's come clean. We know that the Minister of Finance says that on October 1, we will start selling crude to the refineries in Naira. We also think that supply will be guaranteed, quality will be guaranteed, but at what price? At what price? We need to understand this, and who is paying the cost. right? Because you either pay in terms of taxes, or you pay in terms of inflation, or you pay in terms of instability. I think that's the truth of this matter. So, like
Yeah,
you
but
said,
yeah,
yeah,
you know that crude going for Naira will start on the 1st of October. That's a statement. Because,
yes.
I mean, yesterday I had a conversation with some of the people at the background modular refineries, and they're like, crude, where is the crude to start with? Most of the crude are being used for some obligations that have been done before now. NNPC is taking more loans, and it's still the crude that they're going to use. And talking about Port Harcourt refinery, we were told months ago that it would start, was it in July, then it moved to August. Now we're hearing it's September. So, I mean, who says that 1st of October will actually see the beginning of crude for Naira?
But you see, one thing that I've noticed in this country that we keep on putting months, but we don't say the year. Is it October 2025 or October 2024? So I'm being cynical here, but the truth is that let's be very specific. If you do not know, then it's better to say we don't know. The estimates are different from guesstimates. So there's a lot of work that needs to be done. But again, you have to be factually correct, and you have to be intentionally correct. Your intention cannot be to confuse people. So right now, when people are confused, you know what happens? The confidence breaks down, there'll be paralysis of economic activity, and the result is what you get. So enough of the problems. Let's look at the solutions. I think right now, one is that we have to guarantee crude to the refineries. Whether it's in Naira or in dollars, no matter what happens, Nigeria is issuing a Euro bond, diaspora bond, which has opened already. I think it will be fully subscribed or oversubscribed. So there's no, currencies are fungible. It doesn't matter whether it's in Naira or in dollars. The true effective price is the effective price. Today, people are buying petrol at 1,100, 1,200. They're buying diesel at 1,200, which is, one is deregulated, one is regulated. But you can see that the effective prices are the same. So as far as I am concerned, and as far as any economist who knows what is sought is concerned, you must have equilibrium in markets. And equilibrium in markets means that aggregate supply and aggregate demand will intersect somewhere and the price will be there. If there's a subsidy, come out clean and say, okay, we are subsidizing this. Are you subsidizing production or consumption? And if the subsidy is there, then let's know and let's come clean and now know, so that we don't create rent seeking and people cornering the market, which is what has happened. So right now, the inefficiency of the system, the logistics, inefficiency of the market structure, inefficiency of the pricing system is leading to all these distortions. The effect of it is that people are suffering. There are people who cannot even get to the hospital because there's no petrol, and we are losing lives, quality of people that have invested in their education and they cannot get to the hospital, they die, and we lose their output. So it is a major issue. And we have, as a country, we have to come to terms with the fact that we cannot afford disruption. We are an oil-producing country. We have refining capacity. We have tankers. We have petrol stations, and yet we cannot get petrol to people. It's an embarrassment to everybody.
And unfortunately, all this is feeding to the little relief we're supposed to have in the price of at least some commodities. And as you noted earlier, we see the price are picking up again.
Absolutely. But I think sooner or later, this will sort out itself and prices will moderate again. So I'm not too worried about it. But again, like you saw, the stock market took it by the chin yesterday. And in any time you're wearing red, I think the stock market
I was hoping you would say that.
I'm going to tell my people to sell. It is in red.
It is in red. The market is going to bleed.
No, if you wear, I know the chroma doesn't allow you to wear green. So, well, maybe you have to look for some other chroma to use.
I think I should run away from red so the market will stop bleeding.
Yeah, I've told viewers that when it is in red, sell your stocks. Right?
I wish I had that power, Mr. Arwani, but thank you so much for your time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a break now. When we come back, talking about the value of Naira, the issue of Forex, do you know there's some strategies that could help you survive this period? We'll share that after the break. Just stay with us. welcome back. Still watching Business Morning on Sunrise Daily. And now we'll discuss Forex. Yeah, it's a topic that you really want to hear. And we're doing that with the Chief Executive Officer of Kira Forex. I think they call her Kira Forex for those who know her. Sikira Lamidi is the Chief Executive Officer of Kira Forex and joins us right here in the studio. Hi, Sikira. Good to have you. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so I mean, this period in Nigeria, the issue of Forex is a sensitive one, affecting everybody, especially those in the real sector, manufacturing and all of that. But I mean, you say you have some tips on risk management and profit optimization, and we would really love to hear that.
All right, so basically what we do is that we trade using the chart like what is showing now. So we take advantage of the fluctuation between the exchange rates to make money. So we study the chart, we study each and every economy, then we project that on the chart to make profit.
Okay, so what can manufacturers do at this time, you understand, when it comes to, because of the fluctuations, even though for the last, I think, over a week, we have seen a bit of stability, you know, and, you know, manufacturers, for instance, they have to import and they have to deal with customs duties, which unfortunately has been fluctuating, and all of that. What are some of the ways that they can protect themselves against these fluctuations? And of course, it fits back into the consumer's prices.
All right, so what I think is most of these manufacturers can just save in foreign currencies. Yeah, they can save in foreign currencies so that they can make a lot of profit, even when the exchange rate goes up.
Okay. All right. So another thing, obviously, apart from Forex, is obviously the price of things are going up. And now we have the issue of the petrol scarcity, which also fits into, you know, what manufacturers have to face. From your own interaction and your experience, what are some of the tips, especially the startups? You know, a lot of young people want to go into ICT and everything. What tips can you share with them?
All right, first, like I said, we do more on the chart rather than the physical aspect, where maybe you can go into the black market to exchange money or stuff like that. So first, what they need to do is they need to understand how the system works, find a strategy, find a mentor as well. Yeah.
All right, and a lot of young people now see opportunity in ICT, but they also have the challenge of infrastructure, right? I mean, even if you wanted to buy petrol, you need power and things like that. And then after you've gone through that, of course, you have the challenge of network and the fluctuation that also comes with that. Any experience, any tips of what they can do around that?
Yeah, now we have a lot of content online. Now it's even easier when you go to YouTube, you can get a lot of content.
Yeah, but accessing it is the network is also a challenge.
That's one of the problems. But I always feel like if you need something, you just have to find a way out to get it. Yeah.
All right, so we have to thank you so much, Executive Officer of Kira Forex Trading Academy, Sikira Lamidi. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
All right, now let's do a little bit of market. And Mr. Rani did give a hint to it earlier. Yesterday, the NGX was bloody. It was down, really, really down for that matter. And Dangote Cement was a major driver of that red market that we had at the NGX yesterday, dropped a whole 10% on the share price. So there you have it. It's the market closed down 1.36% at 95,000. Can you beat that? We closed last week at 97, and then just the first trading day of the week, we had dropped to 95,000, and that means that 749.7 billion naira, getting close to a trillion naira, was shaved off the market, and we finally lost the 55 trillion naira that we've been hanging on to for a bit at 54.38 trillion naira. And yes, Dangote was a major driver. Profit taking on that stock was huge yesterday. So even though we see that the activity chart was green, we know that a lot of money was shaved off the market yesterday. Looking at the sectors, banking was marginally up 0.2%. Consumer goods, however, was down. And there you have it, the evidence of profit-taking on Dangote cements. Industrial goods dropped 5%, 5%. Insurance followed suit, a little bit of gain on oil and gas at the end of trade yesterday. And looking at the top trade, your STD Insurance, GTCO, and Wema Bank, that explains that gain that we see on the counter, on the banking counter. Mostly these are financial services. Now, looking at the smaller market, the NASD OTC market, it was negative, closed negative yesterday, 0.27 at 1,477.03. Market cap around 2 trillion naira, and the activity chart was looking green also. 32 deals, 7 stocks traded, and a whole lot of gain on the volume, more than 1,000% on the volume yesterday. Well, kind of quiet market now. Perhaps investors are waiting for some push factors that could move them one way or the other. We know that yesterday also the first domestic dollar bond from the federal government of Nigeria opened. So maybe that's where investors are looking at this time, I wonder. But that's much we'll take now. Remember, at 1 p.m., I'll be back here with Will Ibong. We'll give you fresh market numbers, and we'll have a whole 55 minutes to go around the world of business. That'll be at 1 p.m. So let's head back now to the Sunrise Daily Studio.